Tim, when I first stepped foot in Hershey Park Arena about a year ago, I was just blown away by its classic design, but it's actually more than classic. It's unrivaled. I'm not sure there's a building anywhere like this anywhere in America, maybe the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's unique in the sight lines and the pitch of the seats. I mean, actually, it's against code now to build steeper seats. That's why over Giant Center, the seats are more horizontal. It made for a unique hockey viewing experience. I mean, to my mind, the best live hockey viewing experience you can ever have.
When you were talking to opposing players and coaches, did they express to you an appreciation for competing here?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough building to play in, especially when it was filled up, and obviously you see the seats, the people were right on top of you, but everyone always expressed delight and respect for the chance to be able to play in here, because this was really a cathedral of hockey.
If you can, take us back in time to a Saturday night in January, winter Saturday night. There's a rival here playing the Bears. If you can just sort of free associate for us what the sights and sounds and smells were like in this building on a night like that.
Okay, well, it's cold outside. You see all the tunnel doors here, people coming in and out. You get a little chill breeze coming in. Seats would fill up. Say the Phantoms, Philadelphia Phantoms would be the epitome of that classic type of, at least modern era game, at least modern era for me. And you know, the fans would be at a fever pitch, and there was also kind of the subtle undercurrent of the fact that the Flyers used to be affiliated here, so it just made things more intense. I look around here, and almost every spot has a memory for me. I look down at the rail down there, think back to the 97 series against the Phantoms in the second round, a classic 7-round series. Game 3, I was standing there pre-game, and a guy who played for the Phantoms and also played previously for the Bears named Bruce Coles fired a warm-up puck that hit the crossbar and took a bizarre bounce and came up and sliced my melon open. They, you know, the EMTs came over and gave me a couple butterflies, and I went and covered the game.
Well, that explains why people say you have a face for radio today, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Like right down here at this board, that same season, which Hershey went on to win the Calder Cup, night they were playing the Kentucky Thoroughblades, and a guy named Ken Belanger came down, and Jeff LaBaye, Hershey's goalie, was back there fielding the puck, and that was before the trapezoid era, and he basically just freight trained him into the wall and set off a huge melee, and there was bad blood in that series for the rest of the season from there on, and they ended up playing them in the first round and beating them. In '98, I don't know if you remember Scott Parker from the Avalanche, pretty good heavyweight. Well, he made his pro debut here in Hershey and won out on the other side of this blue line. He basically became a one-man wrecking crew against Kentucky, ironically, this kid named Gosselin. Parksy basically ripped off his sweater, shoulder pads, and he was bare-topped, and he just pounded this kid into the ice. Then he stood over him, beckoned him to stand back up. The kid stood back up, and he pounded him back into the ice again. I mean, it's hopefully is going to always be around. It will always be preserved and be a place where, you know, people can come and kind of commune with athletic history and you know, get a little bit of an antique feel and a feel to sports and hockey, to when the game was it. There wasn't all these ancillary things going on, and it was about focusing on this game, and this building kind of does that.
That is such a brilliant observation, and you know, you wrote a book, The Hershey Bears, The Sweet Seasons, and in it you characterized this cathedral as a living landmark. What were you trying to convey with that? I just think that's so poignant.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. It's a landmark. I mean, it hasn't officially, you know, been designated an American historical site, but I think at some point it probably should be. I mean, this is also the building where Wilt Chamberlain scored his 100 points.
Yeah. Tim, thanks for the visit, and I know hockey fans who read on Frozen Blog are going to appreciate you spending the time with us.
Well, thanks, Sean.
Okay, hey, it's great to be back in 2009, and here we are in another quest for a cup. I was up here in 2006, and that was great fun, and that ended the way we wanted it to end. Tell me, both of you, what's the difference in 2009, this team versus that title team in 2006? John?
Well, I suppose the personnel and some of the storylines are probably the biggest thing. I mean, the thing is balanced him as that team was in 06. I think the Alexander Giroux storyline to me is the one on this team that's going to be remembered for all time. I mean, going into this game tonight with 74 goals, there was a lot of balance, the latest season addition of Chris Beach, and funny enough, with a goal that was picked up last night by Giroux, he now ties Beach for the playoff mark in one postseason. Still got some time left, I think, before it's all said and done, too. So, Tim, for me, the balance down the middle is what defined 06, but Giroux and the Hershey top line, you throw in Mink and a coin, too, that kind of defines this team.
Well, the big difference, John, is that team won it. This team hasn't won it yet.
Very true.
Two big hurdles to go. They got to get 2 more wins. I think that team was deeper at forward. You know, that wrecking crew core forwards that just obliterated teams in the offensive zone. I think this team is deeper on defense. Like maybe the top end of that defense was stronger, but this team has guys like Sean Collins, who played in the NHL this season, Greg Mattio, Patrick Neal, routinely scratched. And then the other counterpoint is that rookie Michael Neubert in goal here, whereas you had the premier veteran AHL goaltender, Hall of Fame caliber AHL player, Freddie Cassivi on that 06 team.
Tell me if you guys agree with this. I've had a chance to talk to George McPhee a couple times about the scouting department and its maturation. There were some years there, it took them a while to get their stride going. But here we are in 09 versus 06. I look at guys like Oscar Sala, 4th round pick, Matthew Perreault, a 6th round pick. I look at free agents, like Tyler Sloan, Brian Helmer, the captain. Isn't this some evidence that the Caps are doing what needs to be done to make sure that there's a nice, strong team here annually?
I think there's probably 2 parts to that. Number one, absolutely. I think when you see the Carl Alsners and the John Carlsons and the guys who have come down the pike on the heels of the Mike Greens and the acquired guys like Thomas Fleischman and going back to 06. But, I mean, it's a tag team, too, with George McPhee in Washington, and when you have Doug Yankston Hershey with a lot of the free agent signings this team has had. I mean, Tyler Sloan is the best example. Sloan was on a golf course after his season had ended in Las Vegas, only to get the call from Doug when this team needed defense. Sloan played 2 games for Hershey in the 06 conference finals, parlayed that into a career here, and then ultimately getting the call up to Washington. So it is, I think, a terrific mix, Tim, of the guys who have been brought here from other teams and may not have made it in other organizations that just had a chance. Finally blended, I think, together with the core and draft picks that have done just a terrific job.
Yeah, and on the pure NHL draft thing, when the Caps have been in a total groove since the 04 draft. Not just picking guys with hockey talent, but I think picking good character guys.
So you like to emphasize that too, John?
You bet.
I mean, all these kids are really good kids. I mean, Carl Alsner, any parent would be glad to call them their son. And I think that melding of skill and character is what ultimately translates out to life.
Guys, I want to thank both of you for taking time out here in the middle of the finals to spend some time with OnFrozenPod. Let's get the job done here the next couple of days and enjoy a great summer. Thanks again for the visit.
We'll vote for that, John.
Take care.
Thanks, John.
For Beagle, trying to get it up and out, and now the Bears are on the attack. Perreault ahead to Bork with 1 man back in Derek Englund. Bork pulls to the right, the pass in front of a rebound, score! John Carlson on the rebound, puts it home, his first professional goal! And with 6:06 left in the first, a huge first period marker for the rookie from the London Knights. It's 2-0. Coming in to help out on a puck to the right wing side for Greg Mattio. To Perreault behind the net. Perreault on the trapezoid. Looking out front. Mink scores! Graham Mink on the top shelf and puts it in right at the top of the goal crease, and the Bears are off and running. 3